All right. I call this meeting of the Mount Vernon Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present. This meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, we need a motion to certify the agenda. Motion is made by Robert, seconded by Leanne, all four. It is 6-0. Let the record show that Scott Newsom is not present. And at this time, Leanne is going to lead us in a prayer.
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we just come before you tonight, humbly, Father, and asking for wisdom and discernment on decisions being made. And we just ask that you be with the kids and the teachers while they're out this summer, protect them while traveling and keep them safe, but also just get them refreshed and ready to come back in August. And we just thank you for a great school year, and thank you for this group of people right here. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's do our pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right, there's no one here to speak in open forum. Move on to item 3. Consider our approval of the consent agenda. Any questions on that consent agenda? All right. So at this time, I take a motion that we approve the consent agenda. Motion made by Robert. Second by Josh. All four. That is 6-0. Action items. First item, consider approval of Region 8 Education Service Center 2021-2022 service agreement pricing and letter of intent.
Okay, as you had in your booklet, shows the services that we normally contract with from Region 8 Service Center, and the price for each one of those. Ms. Pam has to book those individually according to which budget they come out of, but you saw a final price, or a total price for those services with the service center at a total of $122,228.38, which, if you see, there's about $5,000 less than what we paid last year.
They're just travel around and do the training this year?
You know, I think that they are beginning to open up some. They are. You know, a lot of this, you know, and even some toward this after the first year of spring. I know in regard to our business department, with Peens, that they came a couple times. I think, did 1 or 2 people come?
We had 2 people come.
Yeah. So they started traveling some, and I know they've opened up some more inside the service center now. Actually, they held their superintendent retreat this past weekend.
Well, we went to training over there.
Yep, yep. So, yeah. So hopefully, you know, I think the only way they won't will be if the commissioner or the governor put some
Lots of
blocks down again. Yeah, yep. So,
Any other questions on that? All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the Region 8 Education Service Center 2021-2022 service agreement pricing and letter of intent as presented in the amount of $122,228.38. Do I have a second? Seconded by Linda. All four? That's 6-0. On to the next item, B here, consider approval of TIPS vendor proposal for hosted VoIP services.
I asked Anthony to come up and speak on that. You've got a lot of that information of what he's going to share with you in your board book. He's going to come and give a little more in-depth explanation.
Basically, our phone service contract ends with Peoples in August, and I went out for bid on that, and I got 7 or 8 bids through TIPS, who are Region 8 TIPS contract, and that way I could just use the TIPS contract, TIPS bid. And we had another vendor that came back lower than Peoples, and it's another vendor that works very closely with Region 8 and other districts in in the region, and they recommended them. I did some references, check references with other districts, and they seemed pretty happy with them. So, and they're also, Peoples was wanting to sign up, do another 3-year contract to get the same pricing we were going to do. And this vendor is not going to make us do a 3-year contract. We can do a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, whatever we want. We can just try them for the first year. If we don't like them, we can go back to Peoples. But basically, we're going to save a little money switching them. It's $6 a month per phone for basic phone. Where Peoples, we were paying $9.95 a month per phone per month. And we can add a few features to some phones and pay the same amount we're paying now. But most of the phones we'll have now will be cheaper a month, because we can use basic plans on everybody's pretty much except administration. So the rest of them will basically, you take $3.95 off of, we have 204 phones, you take that off, that's how much we're going to save a month. So we're basically going to, looking to save $300 to maybe $500, $600 a month on our phone service. So it may end up not being that, but I'm hoping it'd be that. So.
And for the record, that's strictly landlines, right?
No, that's our host, that's not landlines, we do voice over IP, which is, all our phone goes through the internet. We don't have any lines that come, actual pot lines that come physically on campus.
But it's not a cell phone, right?
No, it's still a service contract, because you're having to pay for those minutes or whatever. Our minutes are unlimited, but it's still a contract, it's still services, so. And we put it on here, it's really going to be under the threshold of the budget amount, but I just wanted to be on the agenda and get an action approved, just in case it does go over our budget amount. So I mean, not over the budget amount, over the threshold of the approval. So it's probably going to be under, but just to be safe, I wanted y'all to be aware of it and know what we're doing, so.
I guess that's pretty easy transition over.
Yeah, they'll come in, the company will come in and reroute all, we'll give them MAC addresses on all our phones, and they'll just redirect us to another server, basically. That's all it's going to be. And they're going to come in and do all that for us, and we won't have to do any of that. So. Only in the way I see it, Avery did the same thing, ISD did theirs, and she said the transition was pretty much seamless. After I talked to her about it, the tech director there at Avery, she said it was pretty seamless. And so, we've had a little trouble with Peoples here in the last few months with drop calls and different things. And so I figured it was time for a change on that. And I'm pretty sure that this ENA company we're going with will probably bid on our internet next summer too. So, they'll be more competitive on the internet too. So the internet in the voice over IP world right now, the bids, it's getting more competitive.
Internet come from Peoples now?
Yes, it comes from Peoples, yes. So. Our full internet, our 1 gig bandwidth comes from them. So next year we'll probably go out for more bandwidth. Right now, one's plenty for us right now. So. But if you have any questions on that, the whole packet for the quote is in there if you want to look at it. It has the breakdown on the pricing, but basically it's just a matter of being $6 versus $9.95, basically is the difference in price. Some of them will probably end up paying the full package. The $10 plan on their plan includes a app that principals and administrators can put on their phone, and they can make and receive calls from their actual cell phone if they're not in the office. We don't have that capability with Peoples right now. We're going to get a little more function with them too, so a little more upgrade.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a little bit more, I think, better customer service, and we'll also get a little more bang for our buck. So we're also going to integrate part of this package. Also, we're going to try to integrate the Bell system into our phones, our intercom system into our phones too. So right, we don't have that now, and they're going to help us with that. So, any questions?
So VoIP, voice over what now, is it?
Voice over
VoIP stand for?
IP address.
Voice over IP, Internet Protocol.
Okay.
So what you
Just
want
wanted to
to
get, so,
IP addresses.
IP is Internet Protocol, is what it stands for.
okay.
Yes. Most all districts have voice now. They don't go to, I was at one of the last districts that had analogs at Campbell, and we had an on-premise phone system, and it was a nightmare, always having to change stuff in there. And voice, we were going to switch to voice before I left, but we never did, and they finally did too after I left. So everybody should be on board right now because it's cheaper, so.
Okay. Any more questions for Anthony? We appreciate it.
All right, thank you all.
So we need a motion to approve the proposal with Education Networks of America, ENA, for hosted voice services as presented. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Brooke, seconded by Robert, all four. That's a 6-0.
Thank you.
Next item, C, consider approval of TASB local policy manual update 117 affecting the following local policies: CH, CB, DDC, local.
Yep, okay. So, policy update 117 is in the works, and I think I know you've been given some information in regard to that. There are 3 certain policies coming out of that we first want to look at and ask for your approval, and they deal with purchasing and acquisition. I'm going to ask Ms. Pam to kind of be available to respond to some of this as well. One of the things is currently our legal and local in regard to purchasing and acquisition, the amounts don't match up. Legal shows that any budgeted purchase of goods or services costs $50,000 or more, regardless whether goods or services are competitively purchased, shall require board approval. So I mean, anything under $50,000 would not have to come before board approval. Everything above $50,000 would. Make sure I'm saying that correct, right? To some degree? Correct me, Deb. Correct me.
Not exactly.
Okay.
The $50,000 threshold on the legal policy is in the aggregate, and it's saying that anything above 50, you have to do one of their listed procurement processes. You have to do a bid, you have to do an interlocal agreement, like with one of the co-ops, or you have to do requests for proposal, or there's a whole list of ways you have to do it. And then our local policy is talking about individual purchases that has a threshold of $25,000. And our the new federal guidelines that govern all of the federal money that we get, they have just changed them to we can self-certify 50,000. But right now, our policies don't match up. So we have one that says 50 and one that says 25. And we can take advantage of that self-certification if our policies align. And that's really the difference. Our legal policy says 50,000 in the aggregate, which we do anything under 50,000. We still meet those purchasing guidelines. That's our local procedures in our office. So we follow those guidelines regardless of the threshold. But right now, anything we're required, any individual purchase to bring it to you if it's under 25. And they recommend that we align those before we start using the new federal guidelines. Nothing would keep us from bringing it. We could bring a $5,000 purchase to you. It doesn't mean we can't bring it. It just means the policy won't say we have to. Is that clear as mud?
Yeah. So we're just trying to align local and legal what we're trying to do. And do so before the EDGAR regulations begin in July.
July 1st.
So again, I don't know why the local or when that was changed. 25, as Ms. Pam said, we're pretty communicative with, I think, with what we do and share with you what we're doing. We will continue to do so, whether it be 25,000 or 49,000. We're just asking for that opportunity.
So used to, right, look, it was 25,000, it was brought forth with more than that, it was brought forth the board, we okayed it. Under that, we didn't. Now, just bumped up to 50. And what Dr. McCullough and I talked about is, I think we're good right now, but if we would have a change, hopefully not, but if we would have a change, superintendent or leadership or whatever, and we don't plan on getting somebody, but if there was a distrust in there, that's where you have your issue.
Can we change it back?
Yes, can always change it back. Thing is, it's just lining it up with.
Right, well, but it's not really, I get that the amounts are different, but like you said, the legal is the aggregate, and the local is per individual purchase. So they're not I mean, they are different amounts, but not
Yeah.
apples to apples either, so.
And the hangup is with the new EDGAR guidelines, it does not, it says purchase. It doesn't say aggregate or single. And so, the common thought process across the state is, we're not the only ones doing this, by the way. The thought process is, since it doesn't specify, we need our policies to align. And, it needs to be 50,000 for us to take advantage of that. We couldn't align the legal back to 25.
Right.
So,
So that answer is yes, if we did get ready to change it, we could change it.
Change local back.
Okay.
So that request is being made for CH local as well as CV local to line up, not just purchase and acquisition, but for facilities construction as well. So you see the mark out in the red, the 25, and the blue of the 50 in both of those policies. The other policy dealing in the manual update 117 deals with DEC local in regard to leave administration. Kind of the change that you're going to see there is it says that the superintendent shall develop administrative regulations addressing employee leaves and absences to implement the provisions of the policy. We called, Roy and I called Tasby today as well, our policy person there. And really what this talk, it's taking some of the, you'll see some of the mark out of the red, it's taking some of this out of policy for districts to put it into their admin regulations, administrative regulations. We already have a leave policy. We will work to modify a little bit of it. One of the things that we will work on modifying is there on the leave, let's see.
Can you tell me what page you're on?
I'm sorry, I'm in the book, so I'm on page 104 on the book, which should be probably the same thing in regard to, let's see here, no, she's got that put in there different.
But you're going over the changes of the leave right now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, for that DEC local leave.
Okay, I'm on it, sorry.
Okay.
I just,
All right, so with that, one of the things on leave proration, on page 2 of 7 under DEC local, there's a lot of red on that page of things that they've marked out. One of the things that we wanted to check on, and we will address it in our administrative regulations, says if an employee separates from employment with the district before his or her last day of the school year or begins employment after the first duty day of the school year, state personal leave shall be prorated based on actual time employed. You know, each employee gets 5 days of state leave. Locally, we give 4 more. And what our practice has been, and we'll address, unless we're directed differently for legal reasons, in our administrative regulations, what we'll continue to do for local leave as well, will align with the state leave here, is that, say if a person begins with his first of school and then they leave the district at Christmas, well, they've not necessarily earned all 4 days of local leave that we've given them. And so if they've used all 4 days for whatever reason, then we would charge them back for the 2 that they did not earn. And so one of the things we'll address, that'll be a part of what we'll address in the admin regulations. So other than that, that's just basically taking some things out of the policy, local policy, and wanting districts to put into their admin regulations that we'll be putting together. So those are the 3 policies that we want to bring out in regard to the update of 117. There were other pieces there that Lori had put in your book of other policies that were changed. As Pam and I were looking through those today, wasn't anything that really stuck out that had major change that we want to bring up tonight, unless there was something else that you saw.
Any further questions? Need a motion to approve TASB Local Policy Manual Update 117 as presented. Motion is made by Linda, seconded by Robert. All for that one? 6-0.
Okay, thank you.
Consider approval of proposed revision to EIE Local Academic Achievement Retention and Promotion.
One thing I wanted to bring before you tonight and ask for you to approve in regard to a change of policy is, as you see there with EIE Local Academic Achievement Retention and Promotion, what we're asking is that we now move first grade to match what we have done this past year in kindergarten. As you see, in kindergarten and grade 1 is what the policy is asking for approve. Promotion to the next grade level shall be based on a student meeting expectations on 70% of the course level, grade level standards, essential knowledge and skills, and Northern District standards-based report card, which you see is different starting in grades 2, which is based upon 70% scale of 70 to 100. Ms. Warren and her first grade staff, as well as Ms. White, spent some time working through this and have agreed upon the standards that they're wanting to ask that you approve for that start this school year.
Is first grade departmentalized?
This next
Going
year, they're going to be
self-contained.
self-contained.
Okay.
And the move, we did a standards-based report card in kindergarten. That's what it's always been. This would move us to having a standards-based report card in first grade as well, to communicate specifically to a parent what it is that their child can and cannot do, as opposed to an 82. An 82 doesn't really tell me as a parent what it is that my child can or cannot do. Specifically the TEKS, and my mastery level of the TEKS would then be very clear to a parent.
So like the first grader now will have just one teacher, right? Correct. Okay. Any questions on that? I make a motion that we approve the proposed revisions to EIE, Local Academic Achievement Retention and Promotions as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Linda. All four? 6-0.
Okay,
Thank you all.
thank you very much.
On to the next one, information items, end of the year.
All right, this is just a breakdown of the end of year enrollment. As you see, we ended the year with 1487 compared to what we officially ended last year as of 1558, so down 71. We are aggressively looking for kids through the summer and families to increase that number back up. Again, I was at saw another parent today at lunch who kept their daughter home for homeschool this past year, who is bringing her back, excited to come back. I know some other families here doing the same. So we're just hoping that the addition of our homeschool students back into our numbers is higher than the number of students who have exited or going somewhere else, as well as hopefully we'll get some new ones as well. So. That's it on enrollment.
Okay. So you're thinking, how can I help?
Yeah. You can build some houses and get some families.
Yeah.
The houses are being built.
Yes, they are.
Crazy.
All right. At this time, the board will convene in the closed session to discuss personnel matters as posted on the agenda and allowed by Texas Government Code 551074. Time is 5:38 in the PM.
Okay. All right. Thank you all.
All right.
Dan?
I got that book, Jason, it's 22 hours.
I believe it. I think it's 400, 500 some pages, 400 pages, 500.
A lot to tell.
I think there was a lot they did.
You ready?
Okay. So, 6:38, board convenes back into open session. Told you an hour.
At least.
Dr. McCullough, you want to acknowledge some resignations?
I will. Since the last board meeting in which you gave me the authority to hire people on a timely manner, signed off on these elementary teachers: Heather Mitchell, Christine Renfro, Emily Warren, Cameron Fletcher, Courtney Udi. We have hired a new elementary counselor, Sarah Long, a new assistant principal. As you knew, we moved over Miss Desiree Phillips as assistant principal. hired a new middle school principal to replace Dr. Payne, which is Crystal Woodard. Middle school teacher Aaron Parnell, middle school teacher and coach Michael Garcia, actually coming to us from Pottsboro. Maybe that will be really good and help us. High school PE teacher and coach Timothy Arden, high school teacher Shelley Walker, high school teacher Robert McCraw, and LSSP, it'll be a part-time position, Miss Ashley Holt. Resignations, Lee Tammy Blair, Jessica Post, Bridget Schrader, that was the position I was sharing with you earlier, I couldn't think of which position it was. Shane Thetford, Jason Baxter, Emily Hunt, and Audrey Norman. And that's it.
Any further business? 6:40, this meeting's adjourned.
All right, all very much.
Ashley Holt is part-time.
Actually, Holt is going to, I